Well, this is a video sculpture by Gabriel Barcia Colombo, who is a professor at NYU, and he's also a TED Fellow. He's done a great TED Talk about his work as a video sculptor. And he's best known for projecting inside objects, like everything from cans of Spam to old television sets to blenders. In this case, he's projecting into these globes that are hanging here. And so what you're looking at are a group of projection-mapped clocks. These are not real clocks, but they are projected in these globes. And there's this old-fashioned hand crank here. And when we turn this, different things happen to those clocks. They either change or self-destruct in a variety of different ways. So if we turn this a couple of times, we'll see the clocks start to move. And after they start spinning around a little bit, you'll see something change. In this case, they're melting, like Salvador Dali. But there are 12 different animations that the visitor can access by just turning the crank. So each one's a little different.
I'm Raphael Rosendahl, and we're in the Jepson Center looking at my work. So over the last 13 years, I've been making art that's available online that happens in the browser. And each piece is a small idea, or maybe a big idea that's reduced to something small, a different subject every time. This is a reference to Marcel Duchamp, who made the first interactive art piece, which is a bicycle wheel on a stool. And I made the digital version. So that's all it does. It just, you can move the bicycle wheel. It's an art historical reference. This is one of my most popular pieces, Jello Time, and it's a Jello dessert, but it's an interactive depiction of a Jello dessert. All it does is you wiggle the dessert. So I'm interested in, we've been depicting things in different ways. That's what art does. But this is an interactive depiction. So the picture changes as you do something. You're in the pictorial space. You're jiggling the Jello. Yeah. This is a website called colorflip.com. It's an early piece, and all it is, it's a web page with a single color, and you can flip the next page. It's like you're pulling pieces of colored paper. This is one of the first websites that I sold. So each website exists in a single domain name. This is colorflip.com, and that makes it sellable. I'm just interested in that art can be created freely online, free from any restrictions, and then can be sold, and then can still be publicly accessed. So the name of the collector, when you view it in the browser, the name of the collector is mentioned on the top of the website. And recently I've been making more abstract works. This one is called Into Time. So this is an abstract work called Into Time, and you begin somewhere by pointing and clicking, and you divide the screen in 4 areas, and then you divide it again and again. So the user is creating a composition. That's the basic premise of a lot of my work, is that the user is present in the art. You're in a dialogue with the artwork. And this is another example of an abstract work where the computer divides the screen into lines and then fills them with color. And when you move from left to right, the content of those areas rotates, creating sort of an effect like light moving through colored glass. And if you move up and down, you're changing the composition. All the lines start turning, and if you click, it completely resets. All my pieces are very simple, so this is another simple piece, and this is just the idea that you control the weather, which I maybe in the future will be able to do. So it starts like this, and you hear birds, and you move down, and there's a bit of rain, and it gets darker, and then when you go further down, it's thunder and lightning. And that's it. You can go back up, and then it's summer again.
I'm Chris Mendoza.
Annika Capitelli.
Well, this piece is called Notional Field. It's Notional Field Savannah. It's part of a series of works that explore the relationship between the digital and the real, the virtual and the real. And we do that through creating these physical structures. And this one's composed of about 250 strings, or about so, and a digital projection that is interactive, and it's basically once viewers enter the space of interaction, their movements are captured by 2 video cameras, and those movements are translated into forces that affect the computer projection.
It just started out as a conversation. I really think it was a program that he was working on, and I came home from the studio one day and he was projecting on architecture, more of a 2-dimensional flat. And me being more 3-dimensional, I was like, why don't you project on a physical string? And then this conversation's been going on for 3.5 years. So
Yeah, and then it's led to things that are more like this. That they started out in totally different shapes, but we've just kept iterating the concept until you see what you're seeing right now.
And do people have a good time with it?
yes.
I think so. Yeah.
And which we enjoy.
Yeah.
There is this playfulness to it, and really watching the viewer kind of come up and they don't really move, and then they realize that they're controlling it, and then they'll start running back and forth. And so